Hello and welcome to the Naetopic podcast. I'm Andrew Martin and joining me once again is my co-host,
Kenny Scobie.
So Kenny.
I don't know why I say my name like, it's Kenny Scobie. Alright, so...
What you been up to, man?
Not much. College, it's kind of taken over. Since like the beginning, things start off slow and then like you get to like the October holidays and suddenly you realise you have like never-ending deadlines and you have a lot more to do. But other than that, so basically college sort of takes over, really. Yourself? What have you been up to?
I've just been working, going to the cinema. Just an update from the last episode. We both saw Thor Ragnarok, so we're going to quickly talk about it before we go into the meat of the episode. So, what did you think of Thor?
Thor Ragnarok?
Aye.
I would say that Thor Ragnarok for me was probably the best Thor film. I really enjoyed it. It was like funny. It was smart. It had a strange sort of like a theme, a style to it, like almost like Guardians of the Galaxy, but not Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it wasn't the same as Guardians of the Galaxy, but it has like a strange sort of theme, like neon lights is the look of like what space is in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's what every time they go to space, you sort of there's like a neon sort of lights and like old 80s and 70s hits and stuff like that. That generally feels like what space is like in Marvel movies for some reason. I don't know why.
Space takes place in the 80s apparently.
Basically, yeah. But I thought, compared to the other two Thor films, a lot of people like some of the other ones. I'd watch them. I'd say they're alright, but like this one is like far better. There was like so many funny parts in it. It just sort of captured what I like about Marvel films.
I think it helps because Thor himself is just generally a funny character. So to see one of his films actually, not go full out comedy, but have a lot more comedy than the last two.
Yeah.
I just think it works well to its advantage, and especially with Loki, being just sort of like the mischief maker, tomfoolery. You get to just see him go out, and need I say more, man? Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum was great in it.
I didn't expect him to be great, but when I saw him as a Grand Master,
Well, have you seen Independence Day? The first one.
Yeah.
You see Resurgence?
I haven't actually.
It's fucking shit. I'm gonna put it out there. It's fucking shit. It's not a good film.
No Will Smith, no worth it.
Jeff Goldblum just does absolutely nothing in it. And so when I see him in the coming up for Thor, I sort of think, ooh, is it gonna be I don't compare the two the exact same sort of film, but I just kind of thought Jeff Goldblum, last time I saw him was Independence Resurgence, that left like a bad taste in the mouth. Like it wasn't actually like good at all.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like, I'm not too sure about this, but it was hilarious to be honest.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum's like mouthwash. Sometimes it tastes good, sometimes you're like, oh, do I even want to have another taste? It's like, you get your good Jeff Goldblums and you get your bad Jeff Goldblums.
I've got no idea. I can't. Mouthwash. Okay, sure.
Good analogy. I'm sticking to that.
All right. Okay. Oh. I've been suffering from the cold as well, so if that pops up in the recording at all, like right now, suddenly, it's hard to breathe.
To be honest, I didn't even notice until you mentioned it before we started recording.
Yeah.
So, might just fly by me or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, that's just been our quick update of what's been going on.
Yeah.
More to follow at the end of the episode. But so now, Kenny.
Yeah.
Let's get on to what we're actually going to talk about. Now, in the first episode, we were talking about how each episode would be a different theme and all that. One episode we'd talk about movies or games and story times. Well, brace yourselves because we're going full story time on this one.
Yeah, I would go as far as saying this is like, a great story, a low point of life, I'd say.
A timeless classic, nonetheless.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think of this story and not cringe. Like, it's funny, it's good, but I cringe because I'm in it. You're in it as well. Like, so yeah. So the story we're going to talk about today is in a classic. It's the Hillend events that involved me and Andrew and a few other members. But the thing is with this story, with the few other members, what we're going to do is we're going to change their names because me and Andrew don't mind, obviously we were in the story, we don't mind our names being associated with the story, but we don't know about the other members that were there, the other people that were there at the time. We are not in contact with them, and I wouldn't want to sort of bring it up. So it's easier to just sort of change their names for this story. So we've gone with Rick and Morty characters.
My idea, by the way.
Yeah, Andrew's great idea is to go with Rick and Morty names, basically. So as it goes along, we'll add the characters will be.
And for the record, we'll try not to laugh as much as we can.
Yeah, we were just talking about it before, and it was difficult to not. Once you change the names, it just made the story a little bit funnier for us because we've told the story to like many people, and now we want to share the story with you.
So if this is your first time hearing the story, welcome aboard, and hope you enjoy it.
Buckle up,
buckaroos.
So, I remember the story. You remember the story. Pretty much all of it. So where did it start for you, Andrew?
The story.
Yeah, the story. Like, where did it start? It was. We were both in high school at the time. Yeah.
We were in 5th year, like 6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago. Yeah.
I remember it was around, I'd say about October time, like mid to early October time.
Yeah.
We were invited to I think it was Morty's birthday.
Yeah, Morty's birthday. So Morty was turning 16 at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was turning 16 at the time. I sort of like knew Morty. He was in your register class.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, he was in your register class.
He was just coming into my register class because that was sort of like the year where, they merged the register classes, into one pretty much. And so I started seeing a lot more Morty.
Yeah. Okay. So you saw a lot more of Morty, and did he asked you in registration too?
Yeah, Morty did ask me in registration. He asked a couple folk actually, but I believe I was the only one from the registration class that actually came along.
Yeah, I can't remember when Morty asked me to go. I don't know whether he asked you and then you asked me, or whether he asked me directly if I wanted to go. Because it was at the time he just said, "Do you want to go camping on Hillend?"
And I went camping a really, really long time ago with my dad. I've not really, been camping that much, especially with friends. So I think I was down to the idea. I thought, yeah, all right, sounds fun.
I think I'd been camping once before that, and it was like a month ago. A month ago, not now. A month before that, sorry.
A month prior, yeah.
Yeah, and that had its ups and downs. That's not a story. That's not the story we're focusing on today. So yeah, this one we got asked to go, and he asked one other person who we're going to call Rick. So Rick, yeah, Morty asked Rick to come along, and so it turned out there was only 3 of us that were going, as well as Morty, along the way. Yeah.
So the time came up. We never went up to Hillend together. I think
Everybody came up at separate times.
Yeah, because I took a bus directly up to Hillend, and the thing is though, I didn't realize how high up we were going to be because I believe we did meet up at the center, and Morty kept insisting that we go higher and higher up.
Yeah, but I remember the bit where we camped at the month before, and there was like a part, because that was also at Hillend, funnily enough, but it was a part there. It was open, but there was people like camping there. So we went further up and to the left, and it was like this like path that went all the way up. And then it was just on this random sort of like side of a hill, basically. Hillend. Like it was on the side of Hillend. Yeah, when I got there, I'm pretty sure there was just Morty, and he was putting up a tent with Jerry, who he had invited along. I think or did Jerry turn up later?
I think Jerry came along for the first half, and then he eventually just...
He did. He left later on, but I think he was there when I got there, and like I didn't know that Jerry was gonna be there. So I was like, "Oh, are you sticking around?" And Jerry was like, "No, I'm just here to set up the stuff." Because Morty and Jerry were in the Scouts. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Morty and Jerry were in the Scouts, and so Morty knew that like none of us had been camping before, or like it would have been a long time. So Morty decided that he was going to ask Jerry. He said, "Jerry, do you want to come along?" Jerry turned up, and then Jerry helped out, but that was it. Jerry said that he was, busy afterwards. He could help out by setting up the fire and setting up the tent with Morty, but then like that was their thing. Oh yeah, also it was one tent, and there was 4 of us, and there was 2 compartments, so 2 people in one compartment of the tent.
I remember it not being... It was actually quite spacious as far as I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, it wasn't like we were like directly beside each other, but it was relatively spacious. So Jerry turned up. Yeah, no, I turned up. Jerry was there, Morty was there, you turned up, and then I think Rick turned up. So then Jerry cooked us all...
I think it was bacon?
Bacon, yeah. And this is the point where it became clear that our friend Morty was wanting to drink on this sort of thing. I don't think he actually mentioned it at all.
He just had drinks on him, and he was just
He just turned up with drinks. He had drinks on him.
I think Jerry bought him drinks, actually, because I believe Jerry had fake ID.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. Well...
Because how else was he going to get the drink?
Yeah, so, that was true. So, yeah, Morty got the drink out, and, yeah, that's the thing, because the bacon was really greasy, and they added something like Captain Morgan's to it. I don't know why. So we ate that, and I was eating it, and I was like, "Oh, this is really greasy. It's like super slimy, like bacon, and it's just like it just tastes of like alcohol, and it smells like not too great." I had a roll, I had some bacon on it, had some ketchup, and that was it. That was our dinner. And then Jerry left. He packed up, the few things that he'd taken along with him. And he wished Morty a good birthday, and then it's just off he went, waved goodbye, and they were like, "All right, see you, Jerry." And then it was just me, you, Andrew,
Yeah.
Morty, and Rick. So I think Morty, he had this idea of drinking. He never told me. I think it actually turns out he had a reputation at the time of upcoming and drinking that I didn't know about. I don't think any of us knew about.
It was our first, eye-open discovery to Morty's drinking problem.
So Morty then went on to start downing the booze, and started, he was a big supporter of a football club. We don't need to name the football club, but he was a big supporter of it. So he started doing football chants and all that. You remember the football chants?
Oh, yeah.
So the football chants were, he started drinking, and he started, running around the fire, and he started chanting, football chants. And they just got, he got loud. He was, here's the thing with Morty. He was very, the minute, as we got to know him more and more after this, you could find out that he actually got drunk very easily. Like, very, very easily.
That's how he got his nickname, One Can Morty.
One Can Morty. What about 2 beers Morty? So, yeah, you found out that he could get drunk, like, very, very easily. And as it went along, he got progressively more drunk as the night went on. I mean, it got dark quite fast. It was October, wasn't it?
Aye.
It got dark quite fast. So, yeah, the fire was lit. Morty started running around. I think the rain started coming on. I think there was a few drinks sort of shared. I didn't drink anything, at the time. I didn't drink nothing.
I did.
Yeah, you had a drink. This was before I had drinks. But I did have the bacon that had been fried with drink.
So that counts.
Yeah. I didn't get drunk, but like not Morty drunk. That was something else.
That is like
nobody was there. Level. Nobody was there like to that level of being drunk. So we're all having a laugh. We're all shouting out to Morty to, run around the fire. He's going, we're having a party, we're having a party, we're having a party. And then he would name someone, and it would be like, Andrew's in his bed, and Andrew's in his bed, and Andrew's in his bed, and we're having a party, we're having a party, we're having a party. Andrew's in his bed. And then we got him to name more and more people. We'd say, say this name that teacher, or something like that. And he would do the same thing. And it would go on for ages. And then it started to rain.
Honestly, the boy was so filled with energy.
And then he started taking his clothes off till he was in his pants. And then we were like, okay, we've seen enough. We're going into the tent. Like, we'll just leave him out there.
And he's still kept going.
And he kept going. We were like me, Jerry, and Andrew.
Oh, Rick.
Rick, yeah, sorry. Me, Rick, and Andrew went into the tent and we're just having a conversation there. I can't remember what we're talking about. Probably fucking random shit. And all we could hear outside was Morty running around, fucking going and chanting, and on he went for about 20 minutes until he came in to the tent and he's like, guys, I feel really, really sick. And we're like, just don't be sick in the tent. Like, we've got one tent. Don't be sick in here. And he goes, oh, okay. And it's like, it's your tent as well. You'll have to clean it. And he goes, yeah, that's right. It's true, isn't it? So then he goes into his compartment and goes to sleep. No, it's not. He didn't. He went into his other compartment for a bit. And then we were all sitting there, and we got quite bored, because, it's calmed down a little bit. Morty's still drunk. We're sitting in this compartment. There's, me, Andrew, and Rick, and we're having a conversation. And then Morty comes in, and he's, on his phone. We're all on our phones. And he's like, oh, I've got a great idea. Let's just call everybody. So, when we started calling up people. And at this point, it must be what time is it at night?
I think it was about after 10, 11ish, I think.
Oh, wow. Oh, say, so 11 o'clock. But I think it had to be 11 o'clock at that point.
Yeah.
So 11 o'clock, we're sort of calling up people on their phone. And we're basically all sitting there. And then it was, how did the song go? It was,
I think it was. I'm trying.
Oh, it would be, we love you, Kenny. We do. We love you, Kenny. We do. We love you, Kenny. We do. Oh, Kenny, we love you.
And we all joined in.
We all joined in. It's not like none of us had anything to drink. We all decided to join in at this because we were so bored and it was a lot of fun. But my God, the next day, you would fucking regret that shit. You would fucking regret that shit. Morty called half the people in our year, and so we had so many people there, so many people had been called in that night. Some went to voicemail, and we still did it. We still called them up, we still left that message, and some actually picked up and some of the people actually took it quite well, the people that picked up, I think. They were always like, oh, thanks.
Some of them found it quite funny. I think some were just rudely awakened.
So yeah, we done all these not prank calls, a bunch of calls to people on their voicemails and stuff like that. Left them these lovely messages, little chants and stuff like that. We had this went on for a while, and I think everybody's phones, because we've been using our phones. Well, we called it on Morty's phone.
We just kept giving numbers.
We kept giving numbers. He had so many people on his phone that he'd never talked to, or the people that didn't get along with him, and he randomly called them as well. So we called so many people in that night. I don't know how many. It had to be in the 40s. It had to be about 40 people, surely.
Good God.
40 people that we got. We did that for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours straight. And then it got to night. And then we were all having a conversation. I think you went to sleep?
Yeah, I think I did. Around the same time as Morty.
Yeah, you guys both went to sleep.
And you and Rick were still awake for quite a while.
Yeah, and then me and Rick were having a conversation about stuff. So the thing is, the funny thing is about this story is I can't remember a single conversation that we had, but yet I remember the details so well. obviously the conversation was about absolutely nothing compared to the details. We were just like chatting about, because he's just bored. Like, it's not much to do when you're camping, especially when it gets to night. We should have probably just gone to sleep. Anyway, we didn't go to sleep. I was talking with Rick, and then Rick's like, "Oh, I need to pee." So he goes out, because the only thing you can do when you're camping is go and piss in the woods, basically. So he goes out, and he goes for a piss, and he comes running back in. And he looks at me and he's like, "I saw something out there." And I'm like, "Okay, what did you see out there?" Right? And my imagination starts going wild. I'm like,
no kidding.
He could have seen anything. He could have seen Bigfoot. Like, it's probably about 1 o'clock at night at this point. He's going, "I saw something out there." And I was like, "What did you see?" And he was like, "I just saw a pair of eyes." And I was like, "Human eyes? Animal eyes?" He was like, "Animal eyes." And I'm like, "Oh shit. Not animal eyes." That's pretty fucking scary. And I was like, "Was it close? Was it far away?" And he was like, "It was pretty close. It was in the tree." And I was like, "In the tree? There's an animal in the tree?" And it was like, "Yeah, I saw its eyes and its outline." And I was like, "What did it look like?" And it was like, it looked like a big sort of dog cat thing. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm fucking shitting myself by this point. I'm like, "There's some big dog cat thing in a tree." And I was like, "What was eyes?" It was like yellow eyes. I'm like, "Yellow eyes? Yellow eyes, that's fucking scary."
It's when you know you're fucked.
So Andrew and Morty are in one compartment sleeping, and then me... Oh no, you were in our compartment sleeping, weren't you?
No, I think I was in Morty's... I think we shared a compartment and Rick and Morty shared the other one. I think that's how it was.
Alright, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, but we were in like, even the middle bit when we were talking. Yeah, because the middle bit had all our bags and that in it. The bags and the shoes and that. Because we take our shoes off, because you're not going to wear your shoes in the tent. So we had this like middle bit in the middle of the compartment where all the bags were, the shoes were left. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And there was an entrance to that. So yeah, I was sitting there with Rick and we were suddenly talking about this thing that he'd seen outside. I'd never seen it. And my imagination starts going wild, but he saw something out there when he goes for a piss. And I'm like, oh god, that's pretty scary. So we sit, we'll just listen. We'll go quiet, listen. Right, so we sit and we listen. And then we hear a snap of a twig and we're like, "Oh shit." And then you hear something scurry around and we're like, "Oh man, maybe," I'm thinking, there is something out there. There is some fucking, beast out there, around the tent. And it's not that close, but it's close enough, it's within 10 meters, but not, 1 meter away from the tent. So I'm like, "Oh shit." And I said to Rick, I was like, "We tell Andrew and Morty." And he's like, "Yeah, we need to tell him." I go and wake up Andrew, and I say, "Andrew, wake up." And you wake up and you're just like,
What's happening here?
What's going on? And I said, "Rick sees a creature outside." And you're instantly, what was your instant thought when I said that?
At first I didn't think I believed you. Like, I thought, wait, really? And then I think for a while we just sort of like, I stopped to listen and I kept hearing things outside and I started getting really panicky.
Yeah, that's what I was like as well.
And Morty was having a hard time, waking up no matter how much, because he has had a lot to drink. Like, I think he was just like...
I think at that time that's the most Morty had ever had to drink. He was almost building up a reputation of how much he drinks. So yeah, we're all in this tent. 3 of us now know about this creature outside.
We're all thinking we were gonna die.
Aye. I remember there was, we got to this point. It must have been like that was at like 1, maybe an hour's gone by. It must be like 2-ish or something like that. We're sitting thinking like, we're gonna die. We're gonna fucking die. There's a monstrous thing out there. And Rick peeked his head outside and saw the creature again, and then he came back in and he said, "It's still out there," or something like that. And we're all panicking. And then
I had my camera.
Oh yeah.
And at this point, thinking, well, we're gonna die. Let's record our final messages in case our loved ones find us. So we each pass the cameras. We're recording a little message to our mums and dads telling how much we love them.
Oh my fucking god.
And for the record, those videos have been deleted because, looking back, fucking hell.
Oh gosh.
I never felt so embarrassed than I did back then.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, looking back upon that, that's not a height. That's the lowest point of that whole thing. Because sending messages, sending the messages, or recording a message for them to find when we're dead and been eaten by a creature outside. Oh, by this point, we're starting to think about
What it could be.
what it could be. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, we're like, oh, I think after the recording, we're like, oh, we've been eaten by a creature or stuff like that. Oh, I love you, Mum and Dad. I'm sorry. And I was like, don't mention the drink. Don't mention the drink and all of it. So, yeah, we were trying to figure out like what this thing is, and then Rick comes up with an amazing idea. He's like, a while back, maybe like a year or two ago, red pandas escaped from the Edinburgh Zoo, and we're like, holy shit! And it's like, red pandas. He's like, yeah, they're very territorial.
And we were somehow invading their, privacy by camping in
Invading their
Hillend.
fucking territory. I was like, for some reason, if a red panda escaped Edinburgh Zoo, that's all the way in Castorphinish area. Hillend's like the other side of town.
So we'd have to cut through the likes of
Everywhere. Like,
Broomhouse, Wester Hills, Colington, Ballerno.
but at the time, at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've just you've had tiny amounts to drink. Tiny amounts. But, your imagination goes wild. You just think, yeah, sure, that's plausible. Sure, why not? And we think, fucking hell, red pandas. What are we gonna do? So we started Googling it on our phones, and then Rick looks up the red panda, and then that's where he finds they're territorial and stuff like that, and that they're aggressive or something, and we're like, oh shit, we are in their territory.
And Google's always accurate about
Yeah.
these sort of things.
They're always accurate that they escape from the zoo and go 5 miles south. Sorry.
I mean, anything was possible. We thought we were gonna die. So
Yeah.
what was the next step for us then?
Well, waking up.
Morty.
Yeah.
And of course, that was clearly not happening, and we were so terrified.
Yeah, and at this point, everybody's phones are running out of battery.
And of course, we were thinking, oh no, we have no way to contact the outside world. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's where Rick's like, there's got to be someone on Hillend. There's got to be someone else in Hillend. We're like, well, there's that other camp bit, or there's the other there's a person that, what was it? Like a guy. There was something with a cabin or something like that. You don't remember this? This vague.
The cabin bit. You're meaning down at the very bottom of Hillend near the car park, by any chance?
Yeah, it was the bit at the bottom. He thinks there was someone with security or something there that would be working there.
To protect us from the red pandas.
Yeah. So yeah, they had this idea that we'd go look for security down at this bit at Hillend. But the problem is that we had to wake up Morty,
Which was not happening.
Yeah.
No matter how hard we tried.
We were going to wake up Morty and go see, get out, get the stuff and then just leave. But we couldn't wake him up, so we decided that was one of us has got to go out there, and nobody wanted to go alone, obviously, because they were all shit scared, funnily enough. And then nobody wanted to stay, because it was two of us would go out and one of us stays, and nobody wanted to stay looking after Morty. So we were like, oh, well, all 3 of us have got to go then. And then we leave, we get our stuff, and then leave a drunk Morty on Hillend by himself while we walk to that, no, it's not a cabin, it's like an,
It was like a big centre.
the big centre, yeah, the big centre thing for turning up, because it was a skiing place, basically. So yeah, me, you, and Rick all leave, and we get our stuff, and we've left. We go down, and then we look around. I definitely saw a pair of eyes when we were there, and I was like, we need to go faster. I was fucking shitting it, because it was literally 2 meters on a bush beside us. I was like, oh shit! And I was like, I just seen a pair of eyes, we need to go. So we're the only person that has any battery is me. So I'm calling, I sent a message to my like parents, and Rick said to call his dad
Bird person.
Bird person.
Well, why not?
Yeah, all right. So Rick's dad, or bird person, was to
Bird person saved us.
come and pick it. Well, I called bird person, and then gave it to Rick, and then Rick answered, and then Rick said, "Oh, can you pick us up?" So bird person, or Rick's dad, turned up to pick us up. Well, was going to turn up to pick us up. When we were on our way down that hill in the middle of the night, I remember once I saw the eyes, I called
Morty.
Morty, yeah.
Yeah, you tried to call him.
I tried to call him, but obviously he was like proper out of it. So I left him a voicemail saying, "They're coming, run!" And then we my phone was proper dead. So we get to the place, we're waiting there. It's freezing cold. It's like 3 o'clock at night now, or maybe like 3:30 or something like that. And we're waiting. Then bird person turns up, and then we all get in the car, and it is the most embarrassing moment ever, because it's like me, you, Rick, his dad, in a car. His dad is not impressed at all. He's so annoyed, and we're all just like knackered. I hadn't slept at all. You've had little sleep, and we're just like sitting there, all like embarrassed and absolutely dead, just staring like out the window. And then we all get dropped off at our houses. Oh yeah, we made the agreement in the car that we'd all turn up to get Morty in the morning, like,
or what's left of him.
Oh my god. Yeah. So we all get dropped off, and then from my point of view, or where I was at, I went home. I saw my parents because they'd been awakened by my calls. I fucking explained to them the entire situation. And my parents were like, "You're a fucking idiot." And then they're like, "Well, what happened to Morty?" And I'm like, "He's still on Hillend." And they're like, "What?" And then he's like, "He's still on Hillend." And they're like, "You've left a drunk boy on Hillend by himself." And I'm like, yeah. And they were like, "Oh, not impressed at all." Anyway, I got like a little sleep from then. I got to sleep for I basically got told I'm going back up there, which is what we agreed on anyway. I got very little sleep.
I slept throughout the entire night when I got in. I got in. The one thing I really remember was when I left, I forgot to close my window and it had been raining, so my bedroom was entirely wet. I thought, "Oh, fuck this." So I just sort of collapsed. My mum came in, she was wondering, "What were you doing home so early?" And I explained what happened, and my parents just laughed.
My parents didn't laugh at all. They were like, "You're a fucking idiot."
Yeah. And then I got that text from you saying, "Don't bother, you went up with your mum to pick up Morty."
Yeah, so me and my mum at about 5 o'clock had to go get a taxi all the way up to Hillend to go pick up Morty. And yeah, it's embarrassing enough to go home in your friend's dad's car, sorry, and for them to not be impressed. It's also very embarrassing to have to go up to Hillend and with your mum and pick up a drunk friend who's sitting in the tent by himself, and he's woken up to these calls on his phone that are saying stuff like, "They're coming, run, you gotta get out of there, they're gonna get you," and stuff like that. He sent me on the way up, I was looking on my phone and I got all these messages from Morty saying, "Where are you guys?" After he'd seen all these messages from me saying, "You gotta get out of there, you gotta run, they're coming after you," and stuff like that. He's like, "Where are you guys? Are you close? What happened? Where is everybody? Why am I alone?" So when I got there, me and my mum got Morty and packed up his stuff and his tent, and it absolutely rained. I'm not talking about just normal rain. It poured down. The whole of Hillend was muddy as hell. And then we left, and then we got a taxi back. We dropped off Morty, and then we went home. Yeah, that's the end of that story.
Slightly a lot more depressing at the end than I remember.
Well, it's just that bit where it rained. I just remembered how bad it was, like trying to get like a drunk Morty off of Hillend. Well, he's not drunk by that point. He's pretty much like half sobered up, but he's like got a hangover. He's got a hangover, and I'm having to pack a tent away with my mum, and then take them, all go down the hill in the mud. It was pretty bad.
And it would be a long time again till we go camping again.
Yeah, that's true. They're not gonna go camp. Well, it wasn't. That's another story.
Quite shorter story actually, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is, don't go camping with Rick and Morty.
Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah.
Do you remember what it was like on school that day?
On the day back.
Yeah.
I had at that time we had like study classes. I think we got. That's when when you go into like the last 2 years you got study classes. I had a study class and I could tell like everybody. And almost everybody in that room had sort of knew somebody or had received a message, and it was so awkward. I was just sitting there, and I was trying to explain it to one of our friends at the time what was going on. Well, everybody was just sort of, carry on their study. But when I was there, I looked around and I was like, yeah, these people know. They all looked at me and I was like, they know.
Oh shit.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't really remember what happened on school that day, and given that I actually shared a registration class with Morty, I surprisingly don't remember what happened between us. But
so yeah, that's our Hillend story. One thing I want to bring up right at the end of this is that I have been making a webpage for the podcast because I study web design. I thought a good idea to kill two birds with one stone is one of the outcomes of the assessments that I have to do is to make a web page. And so I decided to make one for the podcast. It's taken much longer than I've expected because I have posted about it on our social media. But in the long run, it's quite good. Well, it's probably one of the best web pages I've actually created. And it should be out between now and the next podcast, which will be out in December.
Yeah, some point in December, which will be our Christmas episode.
Yeah, so it will be out between now and then. I'm looking forward to basically releasing it, and you'll be able to leave feedback there on how you think the podcast has gone. So just look out on social media for it, because once it's done and ready, I will post information about it.
Yeah, it'll be on our Twitter, our Instagrams, our Facebook, even on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'll get to re-uploading episode 2 on YouTube real soon. It's just when we finished it, we didn't realise how long it would be, so it's taken a little longer than expected. So I apologise for any inconvenience, but I'll get that done as soon as possible, along with episode 3 on YouTube. So, bearing that in mind, I've been Andrew Martin.
And I've been Kenny Scobie.
Have a wonderful week.